Yesterday afternoon, about 7 o'clock p.m., we received a call about a capsized vessel with 4 people in the water. We had later learned that there was one survivor, which was able to call 911. He was able to put on a life jacket and swim to shore. At that time, there were 3 people in the water that were unaccounted for, were missing. We began search efforts, located one of the victims last night, which will give us 2 remaining individuals in the water. We continued search and recovery efforts through the night last night up until midnight. The weather conditions worsened. We suspended the search until daylight this morning. We did recover the boat last night that the individuals were in and secured it at our office for our search investigation. This morning, we put back on at daylight, began search and recovery efforts. We located another body this morning about 7:30 and have made notification of the family of that. So we have 1 missing individual still in the water that we're continuing recovery efforts throughout the day and throughout the next couple of days till we locate the individual.
You mentioned the one that called 911 had a life vest. How many life vests were in the boat total, and were the other gentlemen wearing them?
They were not wearing them. They were stowed in the front compartment of the vessel.
How is that man doing?
The one that survived, he was taken to the hospital last night, and he has been released since.
Can you confirm any names for us this morning?
I can. Michael Troop Sr., Ricardo Smith, James Fuller Jr., and Marcus Collins were aboard the vessel last night.
Is Michael Trooper the one that was first found yesterday?
Marcus Collins was the survivor of the incident last night.
So, is it known at this stage how the boat capsized?
That's still under investigation. From what we can tell last night, according to Mr. Collins, the boat began taking on water because the wind and sea conditions were rough, and it just continually filled with water till it capsized.
Was this morning easier in terms of searching when you take into weather conditions?
Much better conditions for search this morning than it was last night, yes, ma'am.
Can you tell us who you're searching for now?
The remaining individual is James Fuller Jr.
And has his family, have you been in contact with his family?
We have, yes. We've been in contact with all the families, keep them up to date on what we're doing, our search efforts throughout the night and again this morning.
Are we considering this a rescue effort, or are we going into recovery mode now?
A recovery effort.
Can you explain to us how the body was found this morning?
The body was found afloat on top of the water, just a short distance up the river.
And the initial one, did we ever get into exactly how that one was spotted as well?
Same way, it was floating. The body was floating.
And Captain, you mentioned Marcus has been released from the hospital. What kind of condition is he in?
Last night, I think he had a few cuts, a few bruises, of course trauma, shock, but for him, he's been released, so I would say he's in. I haven't talked with him this morning, but I would say he's in fair condition for him to be released from the hospital.
Can you confirm relations between these men? We're hearing some were related, the others were friends. Can you do that?
I have not had time to go that deep into it yet.
You did mention, though, it is a recovery, so are the efforts dialed back a little bit? Or
No. We have 5 boats on the water currently now between the Coast Guard, Glenn County EMA, and Georgia DNR law enforcement.
And to clarify, you said that only one of them wore a life jacket. Were there other life jackets on the boat?
They were, and they were stowed in the front compartment of the vessel.
And just to be clear, though, were there enough for each person on the boat?
I did not take inventory of the life jackets last night. That will be done today with the search investigation.
This was just a small recreational boat, like a fishing boat?
About a 14-foot fiberglass boat.
Do you think that type of boat was fit for the kind of weather that they were going into last night?
No, ma'am.
Certainly a boat you'd want to have a life vest on.
Yes. With sea and wind conditions last night, you would have wanted a bigger boat and definitely have your personal flotation device on.
Can you tell us what you've told James Fuller's family going into this recovery?
We'll continue the search recovery efforts until we locate Mr. Fuller.
In speaking with Marcus Collins in your investigation, did he give any insight on why the life vest went on?
He did not last night, no. Any further questions?
I think just to confirm, Rico is the one that you said that was found around 7:30 this morning.
Yeah, the man you're looking for is J.J. Fuller.
That's
Rico
correct.
Scott.
Rico Scott was found this morning.
And J.J. Fuller is the man you're looking for.
Can you confirm
J.J.
their
James
ages
Fuller.
for us?
I do not have that information handy right now.
What were they doing on the boat, to your best guess?
They were fishing.
Fishing
They had been fishing through the day. There were fish on board the vessel last night when we finally recovered the vessel. They had fish in the live well.
How far out were they when Marcus swam to shore?
I can't give you an approximate distance. Probably 100 yards off the bank.
Were they, stand to reason they were maybe coming in due to the rough conditions and how late it was getting?
It would stand to reason that they were. No witnesses at this time, so other than the survivor. And we talked with him a little bit last night, and we'll talk more with him today and probably tomorrow as time goes on and his memory gets a little bit better. Once the shock and the trauma of all this kind of wears off a little bit more, maybe the memory will come back and be able to provide us with more detailed events of what happened last night.
Captain Land, do you know if they've been fishing in some sheltered area with calmer waters?
I do not know. That was not determined last night.
And I know you said that Marcus Collins is at a hospital now.
That's correct.
He's released, okay.
And Captain, if you don't mind, just for any other fishermen or boaters out there, what kind of advice do you have for them going into this kind of weather?
Resources telling us that
Just getting new information out of Brunswick now about 4 people on a boat fishing, we're learning, last night when their boat capsized, and we're getting new information. We're learning their names. We're learning that they are still searching for the body of one person there.
And you know, this just goes to show that life vests save lives, because only one of those 4 had the life vest on. And as we're just learning, that was Marcus Collins, the survivor who was able to swim to shore. He was able to call 911, trying to get rescue there to save, you know, the other 3 that were on the boat. And we still don't know, we don't have it confirmed yet, the relationship of all the 4. We don't know if they were related, if they were family, if they were friends. But we do know they were out there fishing. And like you just heard them say, that the boat was way too small for the conditions last night that were very rough.
Yeah, a 14-foot fiberglass boat, saying that it was just not fit for the wind and the water conditions last night. And apparently they had been fishing for most of the day, because they were still, they found the boat, they found fish, you know, on the boat, but just saying it just wasn't enough for the conditions out there.